Well, hello everybody and welcome to Chef's Baking Blog. Today I'm going to be making butterfly cakes. These are a cake which I remember from my childhood, and they were often baked in a bun tin, and the top of the cake was sliced off and cut in half and used as butterfly wings. So after you cut the top off, you'd put some basically buttercream on the top and then stick the wings back on. And they were very popular. They could be done in paper cases or a muffin tin, but often they were in a bun tin. I'm going to do them today in paper cases, and instead of using buttercream, I'm going to use fresh cream, and I'm also going to use some strawberry jam. So I'm going to cut the top off and a little well in the centre of the cake, put some jam in, and then some fresh cream, and so it's actually like the taste of a Victoria sponge, because basically the cake mixture that we make is a Victoria sponge cake mixture. So they're actually quite simple to do, and we start off by preheating the oven to 180 degrees Celsius, that's 160 Celsius with a fan, 350 Fahrenheit, and I've lined a muffin tin or a cupcake tin with 8 paper cases. So I'll go on to the ingredients. I have 115 grams, which is 2/3 of a cup plus 1.5 tablespoons of self-raising flour. That's based on scooping packed flour into a 250 milliliter cup. And to go into that, I have 2 grams, half a teaspoon of baking powder. If you don't have self-raising flour, you can use plain flour, but instead of using this 2 grams, you would need 8 grams of baking powder, and you put it in the flour and mix it all together. Then I have 2 medium eggs, which would be large in the USA, 115 grams, which is just about 1 stick of unsalted butter, which is softened, 115 grams, which is half a cup plus 4 teaspoons of caster sugar, 5 milliliters, 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract, and then I have here about 2 tablespoons of strawberry jam. You can use whatever jam you want basically if you want to use it. You don't have to use the jam. And I'm going to use 250 milliliters, 1 cup of double cream, and just to sweeten that off a little bit, I'm going to use 12.5 grams, 1 tablespoon of caster sugar. So we simply mix these ingredients together, put them in the cake tin, in the muffin cases or cupcake cases, and we put them in the oven to bake. So I'm going to start off by creaming my butter and my sugar together. And that's creamed together quite nicely, so I'm just going to scrape that down, and then I'm going to add my eggs one at a time. And whisk those until they're fully combined. Then I'm going to add the vanilla and just whisk that in as well. That's good enough. And so then I'm going to put my baking powder into my flour. and I'm going to stir that around, and then I'm actually just going to sift that onto the wet ingredients, and that's just to make sure that my baking powder is mixed in quite nicely. That's good like that. I'm going to fold that in until it's combined. And that's quite good like that. So then that just needs to go into our paper cases. And if my calculations are right, that's actually about 57 grams of batter in each. And that's about that amount. I'm just going to drop it into the paper cases. And so they're fairly evenly filled, and I'm going to put those into the oven, and I'm going to bake them for 17 to 20 minutes until they've risen up and they've browned on top and they're springy to the touch and the skewer in the centre comes out clean. Then I'll take them out of the oven and allow them to cool down, and once they've cooled down I'll come back and we'll go on to the next step, which is to hollow out the centre and make the butterfly wings and fill them. I baked my cakes for 19 minutes and I tested them and they were fine, so I've taken them out of the oven and they're just about cooled down now. So we'll go on and we'll make the cream. So I have in this bowl my 250 millilitres of cream, and I'm going to sprinkle over just that little bit of sugar, and I'm going to whisk these until they're at thick peaks. And that's just about right. I'm just going to give it one last little whisk. That's good. I don't want to go any further than that. And so I'm actually going to put that into a piping bag, but you could, if you wanted to, simply use a spoon to spread it onto your cakes. And as I said, you could just make a buttercream with butter and icing sugar and a bit of vanilla extract if you wanted to. But since these are going to be eaten on the day, the fresh cream will be fine. So I'll put that to one side. And with the cupcakes, I want to cut out, and I've done a couple already, just a little hole in the centre, and I'm going to use the top part for the butterfly wings. So what I do is I simply take a knife and cut down in a circle like that. And that would be good. And then what what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a cupcake, take the centre out, and I'm going to spoon in some jam. And again, as I said, that is optional, you don't have to do that. And I'm going to cut the top in half, like that, and do the same with the remainder. And with them cut out and filled with jam, I'm going to take my cream and if I have too much cream, it doesn't matter, because I can use it for something else. But I'm simply going to pipe some cream like that for each one. And then I'm going to take the wings like that and put them onto the cake. And then what I'm going to do, I've decided I'm just going to take a little bit of icing sugar and sprinkle that over the top. I seem to recall that was what we had when I was a child. And they're ready to serve. So I'll just tidy up a little bit and then we'll have a taste of them. I tidied up, and so I've put 3 of them onto a plate, and I've taken one out of its paper here, and I'll just have a taste of this one. I'll just cut it in half basically. And then in half again, so that I get some of the jam and the sponge. It is very, very good. The cake is lovely and soft. You get the sweetness of the strawberry jam which I used. You could use any jam, or you could use no jam at all. And then that cream as well, and as I said, buttercream is how they used to be served, and probably still are these days if people still make them. So these are actually very easy to make, and they look very nice, I think. So that's going to be it for today. I hope you've enjoyed the video, and if you have, please give me the thumbs up below and click to subscribe to my YouTube channel. In the top right hand corner of the screen there will be an eye that you can click on, and that will take you to a link for the recipe, and I'll put a link below the video as well, and I'll be back with another recipe in the very near future. So until then, happy baking.